safe. My next guests have the unique and honorable perspective of having actually served in Iraq. And now they're watching the hard-fought gains of the American military begin to unravel. Let's bring in Congressman Adam Kinzinger, Republican of Illinois, member of the House Committee on Foreign Affairs, a military pilot and major in the Air National Guard. He's flown refueling and reconnaissance missions in Iraq and Afghanistan. Joining him, of course, Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, Democrat of Hawaii, who served 12 months in Iraq and currently is a military police captain in the Hawaii National Guard. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Before we get to the policy, there must be emotions that you both feel watching this because you have friends who died fighting for Iraq. What is that like?
It's painful. I served in a medical unit during that deployment to Iraq in 2005 and was faced on a daily basis with that most harsh cost of war, both of people who I knew and who I served with, who I spoke about recently during Memorial Day, and people who were from all over the country, from all different branches of service. Now to see what is happening there causes me to remember their service and their sacrifice.
Very painful, I would think.
It's heartbreaking. I mean, you know, almost 5,000 people gave their lives to bring Iraq freedom. And I thought, you know, after the surge, we were there. There were a lot of gains that had been had and a lot of hard-fought wins. And to watch it all collapse, I heard, in fact, the air base I was stationed at, Balad, is being evacuated. And I spent a lot of time there, and it hurts. I mean, this is very sad. Very sad for the people of Iraq and for those that sacrificed for them.
Let's turn to the policy of this. Congresswoman, you do not support the airstrikes that the Iraqis are asking for. Do we not have some obligation to help these people after the United States went in there and invaded and took out their government and created this chaos?
I think we've got to really understand what's happening here. We've got to do a couple of things. We've got to understand what's happening here, and then we've got to take a very clear-eyed look at seeing what impact, if any, can these airstrikes or other involvement actually make on the situation on the ground. The situation being, this is a religious civil war that's occurring between two Muslim factions, the Sunni and the Shia. Largely, this is coming about today because of this invasion that we did in Iraq a decade ago, where you have a government that had the opportunity, Maliki had the opportunity to create a unity government, bringing together the Shia and Sunni parts of the country and actually bring about peace. That did not occur. Instead, you have a government that has been oppressing the Sunni Iraqi people and has been discriminating against them and has really brought this about, where you have this continuing battle between the Sunnis and the Shias.
Congressman, I know you support airstrikes. You know there are a lot of people in the Pentagon very skeptical of that. They don't know that that would be effective. There isn't enough presence or potential presence for the U.S. to have on the ground there to be effective. And it seems like they're afraid of getting dragged down into a civil war that the United States really can't play a constructive role in.
Well, let's be clear. The full withdrawal from Iraq in 2011 was a complete mistake. Had we had a status of forces agreement, 20,000 troops, we would not be facing this situation. Are airstrikes going to be the panacea? I don't know. But we're seeing what happens when nothing occurs. You're going to have Baghdad, almost the size of the city of Chicago, in flames. You're going to have Iraq in flames. Imagine what that's going to do to the Middle East. If there's an opportunity to kill these bad guys that are coming in and taking on the Iraqi government, there's a reason the Iraqis want airstrikes, because they think it'll be effective. There's a reason Iraqis are doing airstrikes, because it's killing bad guys. I think we have an obligation to come in and to help push back this enemy that's creeping in. Also from inaction in Syria. This is where they've been able to plan and organize that in Syria. They're establishing this caliphate across the Middle East, and we will rue the day if we don't do action.
Congresswoman,
I think, sorry, if I just want to jump in, you have to define who are the bad guys. It's easy to say, let's go in and get the bad guys, but you have a divided country of Sunnis and Shias. The United States goes and takes action there on behalf of the Iraqi government, Maliki. You've got Iran coming in and saying, well, we're going to stand with Maliki, so now we're allying ourselves with Iran, and essentially, if we do airstrikes, becoming de facto air force for them. Or you have the Sunni Islamic terrorists who are fighting. So who are you deciding who are the bad guys? And the perception to the Iraqi people would not be that the United States is coming to fight for us, because they're part of this divided country.
Well, I disagree, because the Iraqi people have asked, and the Iraqi government has asked for the United States' help. I mean, what we're saying is, gee, since we don't fully grasp the situation, let the Iraqi government fall, because that's what's on the eve of happening. This isn't new either. This started in January.
Right.
And we're just learning about it today because it's exploding.
It is, of course, though, and I know you're not disputing this, it is, of course, very complicated.
Of course.
For instance, ISIS, in addition to being opposed to the Iraqi government, is opposed to the Syrian government. and many people wanted strikes against Assad. Well, guess what? ISIS wanted strikes against Assad, too. Is there not? I mean, if there's ever been a condition for blowback, and understand I'm not advocating anything, but if there's ever been a condition for blowback, this would be it. I mean, you don't know who you root against in a lot of these.
ISIS was taking advantage of the situation in Syria to help. Whenever you have lawlessness and craziness, they were taking advantage of that to establish their state in Syria. So are they opposed to Assad? Sure. But they were more taking the fact of now controlling large swaths of Syrian territory. They don't see national boundaries. Now they're moving into Iraq. They want to take all of Iraq. Imagine what this is going to do when this falls aflame. So we can sit back and say, gee, you know, who are the bad guys and everything, or we can step up and say we're going to stiffen the spine of the Iraqi military to take their land back and give an opportunity for more reconciliation.
And Congresswoman Gabbard, I want to give you the final word. One of the things that the American intelligence and military communities are very worried about is ISIS, not just there in Syria and Iraq, but actually coming back to the United States and doing things here in the United States. Is it not better to get them now there as opposed to having to deal with it later on?
Once again, you've got to be able to define who we're helping or who we're fighting against. Whether you're talking about Iraq, you're talking about Syria, you have many different complicated things going on that ultimately result in two civil wars that are happening. If we are, which I do not advocate for getting involved in either Iraq or Syria, if we're concerned about a direct threat to the United States or our interest from ISIS or other terrorist factions anywhere else in the world, we should focus our resources on those direct threats and take them out where they are, not getting mired into other civil wars that could end up costing many more lives and hundreds of billions more dollars.
Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard of Hawaii, Congressman Adam Kinzinger of Illinois. Two people with skin in the game who actually know what they're talking about, even though they disagree completely on everything. Thank you so much for coming in, and thanks for your service, as always. Appreciate it. Coming up next, it's the question so many have asked since the day he disappeared. Why did Private Bo Bergdahl seemingly walk away from his base that night? Now, new letters obtained by the Daily Beast's Kim Dozier and reportedly written by the soldier himself explain why he did it. Plus, Hillary Clinton, not amused, why she seemed to scold an interviewer today after she refused to back off on asking one question. Our politics lead coming up.
The Lead with Jake Tapper is brought to you by Siemens.